This will be fun. We're starting in the worst light humanly imaginable. Like, this is going to be great.
Today we're out here with Sam Hurd at Not a Conference in Maui, put on by Focal. And if you're interested in getting a website built with the new AI editor, it is $5 for your first month. Here's Ben to tell you more.
How was the half-bird?
It was good.
It was good? Yeah. Was it better than Hattie B's? No?
Thanks, Ben. So basically, you get to build your website in just a couple of minutes, and you get a fully functioning backend, which is your CRM, so you can take bookings, you can take payments, you make money, you can track all your bookings, and life is good. Let's go back to Sam for more here from Maui.
This will be fun. We're starting in the worst light humanly imaginable. Like, this is going to be great. As a learning experience, this is how I prefer to shoot, and as a personal challenge. There's not a single cloud in the sky. Maybe there's one over there. It's so funny. It's like the opposite of yesterday. Has everybody introduced themselves? Okay, sorry. Okay, good.
Really?
Yeah.
Plan?
I never have a plan. Are you kidding? Almost never.
Who are you? What are we doing?
My name is Sam Hurd. I'm a wedding photographer. About to teach with my first group at this awesome conference. That's not a conference. And yeah, we're gonna start with the absolute worst light humanly imaginable. Not a cloud in the sky. Might as well be high noon, and see what we can make. I'm immediately trying to track and get a sense of where the shadows are. So already in the back of my head, I have a little sub-routine running of kind of positioning and where I'm going to be. No idea about composition or vibe or anything yet. Just kind of getting my bearings relative to the light. So it's going to be very interesting. On really bright days like today, I look for shadows where the shadow meets the sunlight on the ground. Try and position somebody right up against that threshold, right against the edge, where they could almost lean forward and they'll be in direct sunlight, but not quite. Like, I want them right in that shade. The second thing is natural fillers and bounce lights. So buildings like this, something white or kind of a neutral color or gray, really reflect nicely to fill in a lot of shadows that are going to be pretty present if you're shooting in really harsh sunlight. And the third is just straight up into the sky, looking for silhouette opportunities and how I can use the sun as more of an effect and a flare and not have to worry so much about the quality of light hitting someone's face. So yeah, it's kind of the top 3 starting points.
Also, Sam will be speaking at Canada Photo Summit, which is a conference that I am running with my wife, Lindsay, later this year. So if you're interested in coming out, seeing Sam talk, Eric Floberg is going to be there, John Branch IV, my wife, Lindsay, myself, Nova Marquina, and Christine Tremolay. Links to that down below.
I'm going to be switching between the Nikon Z9 and the Canon R3. This is my go-to for the past few years, and I've just been really enjoying the Nikon Z9 ever since I got to try it out at WPPI a couple months ago. So we'll see which one takes the lead. I noticed yesterday is I didn't quite get enough gesturing from like her hands, which is fine, but that's something I'm keeping in mind today now that we're shooting again. And the other thing, not so common I think with models, but certainly with wedding couples and especially with women, unless they're laughing, they tend to just be completely closed mouth, which is totally fine, but a really nice thing to do. And you can take your own approach as to how to like phrase it so it's not super awkward, but just breathe through your mouth is a good way to get people to just part their lips basically. So you get a little bit of teeth and it feels like a little bit of like an in-between moment occurring where they're literally taking a breath. The biggest thing I tend to look for in really bright sunlight like this are areas where the shade meets the sun. Not so much the dappled light like this, but more the overall like bigger shapes of shade. So kind of the edge of the tree there where it just becomes entirely sunlit here. Almost like one more step in and they're gonna be hit. And sometimes that's still fine, but I want them facing all of this other light, and I'm generally gonna shoot this way. That's almost directly above us, that's crazy. To shoot like straight, that's gonna be interesting. And not every body type and person is suited for like shooting straight up underneath, up into the sunlight, but we'll see what happens. You stand right here, and okay, what happens when you let that go? Does it just cover your face entirely? Okay, let's see. It's kind of cool though. There's like moments in and out of where yeah. Actually, the more in front, the better too. Okay. Normally this is where I would start, like I said, but I'm still seeing way too much green, kind of like just lighting. So I'm actually gonna trend away from here right now and start over here and see where we can go, because I think this is gonna be a better source of fill light without having to worry too much about green. And plus maybe it's a little less windy, so let's go that way. And let me know if we walk somewhere where you can't. Come over here. Are you comfortable sitting?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It actually won't even matter. I'm gonna get awkwardly close with this. Can you kind of bring your hands actually really close to my lens? So yeah, both hands. Yep. And maybe, so asymmetry. So like one, exactly like that. Yep. Perfect. Ooh, that's cool. So I just solved everything that I was annoyed about that I didn't do yesterday. Really interesting hand gestures, getting kind of a breath shape in the mouth, and shooting ultra wide. So I'm kind of done. But honestly, if you want to swing over, you don't have to like do exactly what I did, but just start to look at the quality of light on her face and think about how it's shaping things. Ooh, and I actually, can you stay just like that? Ooh. Right now I'm like shooting through her hair half the time. It's coming through, so it's throwing the autofocus off. So I have actually my autofocus on button set to disable autofocus. So I can essentially manual override at any point. Like you want to be able to frictionless in and out of that. I have another button map to zoom in also if I really want to be sure and precise. Instead of using it as a background, which we might also, because it is kind of cool blowing in the wind, we're just gonna use it as a fill light. This is actually not uncommon to how I would deal with a veil in the wind, is kind of maybe an assistant or somebody helpful to hold the veil in the wind, but also I still try and have some control with one of my own fingers to get it really close to my lens, and then just let the wind do its thing. I'm gonna jump my shooting speed to be insanely fast, and then I'm gonna use the prism. And again, trying to remind myself to lean into what I would normally not do, or what I would normally do and try not to. I'm gonna go 24. With a really tight kind of thing like this, I would normally maybe lean 50, but I just wanna see what it looks like with a 24. Are those real tattoos? That's awesome. Okay, I wonder if we can incorporate that somehow. If you bring your hands up to your face, a little higher, how much, like, can you turn your, yeah, exactly. I was just trying to get them a little more straight on. Yeah, that's really cool. I think now I wanna go back to 50, but, oh, that's actually kind of beautiful. Turn your head into the light a little. Yeah. Oh, and then bring your hands a little closer together. Yes, that's cool. Perfect. No matter what my priority is in terms of like looking at the light or getting a interesting composition or something, I try and pay hyper attention to like little details. She just had these really interesting tattoos that are cool. Didn't know at all how to use them. Can't anticipate, but just try. I'm really bad at names, so one great strategy, if you have a freshly formatted card, beginning of a wedding day or a session or whatever, just type their name on, or write it somewhere or whatever, and then take a picture of it. So it's your very first shot on your memory card. So if you're ever like a couple hundred photos deep and you're, oh my God, I forgot what their name is, you can just hit play and then immediately hit to that first shot. Yeah. I will talk through some posing things because it's totally different than what we just did with a solo person. A lot of it is still though what to do with their hands. Maybe not as much as like the specific gesture, but just having them connected via holding hands, stuff like that. Okay, let's just start. Can you just come a little closer to me? Now, the way this normally works, if I don't know, try and eject from your mind whatever Nicole just told you. If you're not hearing from me with a suggestion about how to interact or what to do, just assume you're doing exactly what I want, because I will tell you if anything needs changing. The scene-wise, here's where it's really gonna play out, because it's not all green, and there's a little bit of this color. The fill light is gonna be more helpful than where we were on that side. Can you come a little closer to me? Oh, okay, back up. Right about there is the sweet spot. I'm just kind of being drawn to the symmetry right now, something really easy to get a feel for their chemistry. Okay, can you both sidestep a little that way? That's good. We're gonna start real easy. Just turn and face each other. I guess we overshot a touch, literally like a small half-inch step back that way. Yep, that's good. Okay, posing wise, they're a couple, so they automatically got comfortable and close, but a lot of times I kind of have to tell people, like, belly buttons at each other, like bring your waist together, like really lean in close. So eyes at each other. We'll do a few photos like this, but that's like table stakes, basic, easy. What really helps change things up is where you have like, can you kind of look down over your shoulder this way? Yeah, exactly. Now there's a little bit of asymmetry and angles with the line of sight where you're getting like this crisscross effect. That's really something I love. Like almost like an X shape if you could draw a line from their eyes. Okay, I'm gonna start taking actual pictures now. Are you guys married?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. How long?
10 years.
How many?
10 years.
10 years. God, how old are you? Yeah, it's exactly what I...
Oh my God.
Ooh, I love this. Just like that is perfect. Ooh, that's perfect. Hold. Back up a little bit. Perfect, guys. All right, and then can you kind of place that same hand just like right on his shirt or something? Yeah, perfect. Ooh, I love that. And then just, ooh, I love this. Okay, jump in. And then you can almost kiss, but not quite. Yes, good. Done. Okay, relax for a second. A few things to think about there. One, it can be really tough. Like you might know where you want them to put their hand, but it can be tough to like describe a body part. Like put it on his shoulder. So, and like they might go like full shoulder, half shoulder, who knows? So if you kind of do the gesture yourself, they'll generally mirror where you're putting your hand as the photographer. So I do that a lot with like sweep your hair out of your face. I'll do it to my own, like I try and mirror the gesture that I want them to do, if that makes sense. All right, so what I'm doing, trying to see, the sun is literally like directly overhead. I don't know that I've ever seen the sun this high up in the sky. So what I really want to try is shoot like straight up their noses, but kind of lean into the silhouette. See if I can get some cool shape with the trees versus the steeple versus the sun in the sky. And I'm shooting with a great lens, the 24-1.4, that has a very unique characteristic that when you stop down the aperture at f/16, the Sunstar has a 9-blade star to it that just looks very beautiful. That's all I got. Once everybody who's shot kind of had a chance here. Okay, I want to move to this side of the path. So can you two come over here? Didn't realize there was a wall here, but that's fine. If I ever am in a precarious, which often happens, like against the edge of something for myself, I try always to be kind of lean with one foot, and then that is my anchor. So like literally I can feel like half off the edge of where it is. I don't trust myself to just remember to look exactly how far I have to go. That is my like anchor point with my foot. Okay, all I'm thinking about here is the silhouette. So the quality of light on them, all of that, and really what I'm trying to do is kind of put them in the shape that I'm seeing with this versus the steeple thing, and then this little bit of opening. Lean in really close to each other. Yep, and rotate a little more my direction. Yes, exactly. Just trying not to lose, yep, lean in close. Yeah. Ooh, okay, I have another idea as well. Ian, can you kind of swing out and turn that way and back up into her? Exactly, that's great. And then if you want to like hug around his arm or something, and you can actually lean against his shoulder like that. That's beautiful. Hold that. Good. I'm just letting the wind do its thing a little bit with the hair. That looks really cool. Perfect. Okay, now in direct sunlight like this, I'm trying to create a little like pocket of shade for their faces only. Clarinda, can you look a little more up? Okay, so there where the sunlight starts to hit her nose too much, like I'm gonna try and do anything I can to direct her kind of looking a little lower again. Boom, right there, so that both their faces are like fully shaded. As long as the face is okay, a lot of the other problem points like don't feel as bad. Switching to the 50, no caps. And like, look, I've had this lens for, I don't know, a bunch of years. There's no scratch on there. I've actually opened my bag up and saw my keys just floating in here and still no scratches. That was a long time ago. It takes a significant amount to really pick up a lens. I like that direction, just kind of chin down a little more that way. Yep. Now, Clarinda, just take your hand briefly to sweep your hair. I just want to see a little more of your face on the other side. Yeah. Her head, yep, beautiful. Hold that, guys. Oh, I love this. I'm gonna just get something to shoot through. It's like an endangered flower or something. Hopefully not. All right, Clarinda, just a little more down in his direction. There we go, perfect, hold that. And then Ian, if you wanna like kiss her on the shoulder, the forehead, or wherever you can actually reach. Ooh, I like that. Oh, I have different couples now. We're swapping already. Okay, bye guys. Sorry, I never know when that's happening. Okay, new names to think about. Hey guys. We're just gonna jump right into things. So come on over here. My feelings are literally never hurt. So if I ask you to like sit somewhere or do anything that you're like, I can't really do that, or you're uncomfortable, just let me know. Okay, cool. He's super tall, so it's a little too much sunlight on shoulders. So I think I'm probably gonna have them sit. Now, a few things to think about when you ask people to sit, especially if somebody's in like a wedding dress. I generally have the guy sit first. So that one, I know that it's working, because sometimes you have one person sit down and you realize like, oh, actually this is a bad idea. And it's easier for generally somebody not in a dress to sit and get up. Two, I think it's easier for somebody to kind of like sit into, you know, the lap of a guy. Other things to think about, a lot of times people will sit like side by side and parallel with one another. Sometimes that's fine, but I generally try and make it so that one person's feet are oriented in one direction and the other in another. So you're kind of getting that angle again of your line of sight of where your eye, kind of what I described earlier with the eyes, kind of crisscrossing. I sort of want the opposite of that for legs. Okay, that's a lot of talking. Are you guys comfortable sitting here? Nice. And then just back up a little bit in there. Thanks, man. Cool. So if you can, Faith, just however you feel like sitting on that, kind of keep it hidden. You don't have to spread it out too much. Just kind of have your feet and legs sort of pointed over in that. Oh, I like it exactly how you felt. That's great. Beautiful. Cool. We're in this nice little shady pocket. I think I'm gonna shoot most of this 50, but I might try one 24 millimeter, like super wide, to really exaggerate this arrow pointing shape. But I'm gonna start real close just to begin. As long as you focus your energy on each other, which you're already doing, that's perfect. Just eyes right at each other. I'll tell you if anything needs changing at all. Beautiful. Okay, so I get this question a lot in terms of reflections and prisming. Like when and why will you start to use one? And a lot of times, a scenario like this where there's something overhead, like usually it's a building, but here we still have this cool shape of the hedge. So I'm gonna see if the prism can kind of reflect back down this arrow pointing shape. All right. How long have you been married?
1 month.
Oh, dang. Congrats. Did you get married here? It'd be hilarious if you're like, no, we went to Arizona. It's like, we live in Hawaii. Okay, actually, can you both kind of just right here my camera lens, we can keep it serious for a few. Oh, I love that, Perfect, there it is. Hold that, that's perfect, don't change a thing. Cool rainbow. Whoa, okay, nice. Everybody else can swoop in. This is a pretty sweet spot right here, especially with the light. Great. The sun must be so intense. I've never seen this like crazy intense like flare. That neat.
12 noon.
Wide, mid, tight. So just rotating through as much as you're able, like a nice scene setting shot, something really wide. Nice middle ground, and then super, super tight. Like, especially if people are seated, I'll try and take the time to be a little more mindful of that because it takes time to get them in that position. There's plenty of opportunities to get in really, really close for a nice, tight, cuddly shot here. Wide, mid, tight. Also really good in terms of piecing together a story in a full wedding gallery. Get those wide establishing shots of the room, get the medium shots of some, person or a few people, and then real tight in on like the details of a gesture or literal detail elements in the space, like the wallpaper or a lamp or whatever. Okay, so I'm back to here. There's Faith.
What are you trying to do here?
Make a cool photo. Yeah, and as close to the shade as you possibly can. In fact, can you sit there? Like just lower? So, what I'm doing here, like the prism has 3 sides. One I'm shooting through, the other 2 I'm using to reflect them at the exact same time. If you're doing something weird like this, it really, really helps to use the viewfinder just for stability. All right, I'm gonna stop talking, I gotta take this photo. All right, you two, I think are actually pretty perfectly placed. Just Faith, can you just look at my prism like that? And then maybe eyes, what direction? Kind of keep your body exactly like that, but just kind of eyes down in that direction. Yeah, perfect. Hold that. And then if you can kind of sweep your hair just a few times. Ooh, I kind of like you looking out that way entirely. Yep. Hold that. And Daniel, if you can also look down that direction. Yep. Cool. Hold that, and then just get a little different. I'll explain more in a second what's happening to everyone else. So the prism, 3 sides, you can shoot through one and then you get a reflection on the other 2. If you actually stop down your aperture to be like f13 or something like that, you get a very clearly defined break in what's being reflected. I took a ton because it was very in and out of being good versus bad, but just kind of stitched together a couple different options of them being kind of reflected. Whoop. Yeah, that one's actually gonna be pretty funny. But yeah, that's the idea. Thank you for joining. Find me Instagram, I am the Sam. YouTube, Sam Hurd Photo. And patreon.com/SamHurd.
Thanks so much to Sam for letting me follow him around at Nautic Conference in Maui. There is another Focal Nautic Conference happening in Banff later this year in September. So if you're interested in doing this style of shoot, but in the mountains of Canada, come on through. Link in the description. And also Canada Photo Summit, where Sam will be speaking with myself, with Lindsay, Eric Floberg, Nova Markina, Christine Tremolay, and John Branch IV. So it's a pretty stacked roster. Also, the Banff roster for the workshop is also pretty stacked. And we're announcing, well, I can't talk about it yet, but you'll know in 6 days. And it is pretty awesome. These are 2 different events, but you can come to both if you want. That's all. See ya.